Next lick comes from a slower tune called Please Come Back. And what I'm going to show you here may not be exactly note for note what he plays, but the idea I hear him use in a number of different tunes. And what he did is, let me try to play it just for you one time. It's in the key of C or G, and he's going to do this slide. And he's going to play in 3 different positions as he comes back down the neck. So he starts out, I think, from the 3rd fret of the 1st string. He's going to slide to the 15th fret, which is really kind of cool. Something like that. And then he's going to go to the 2nd position G bar chord. So he's going here, which is in the 1st position blues box played way down or way up on the neck. And then he's going to go to the 2nd position bar chord shape to the 13th fret of the 1st string. And I think in that tune, Please Come Back, he does something like this. Couple slides into it. And then to the 10th fret. So this lick right here, he uses a lot from the 10th fret to the 13th fret over that 2nd position A bar chord. And then he winds up in the 2nd blues block, 2nd blues box. Something like that, and then he wraps it up going to the 1st blues box. So actually, correct myself, he plays in 4 different positions in the key of G as he comes back down the neck. So he starts out going up the neck, and then he comes to that A position or 2nd position's G bar chord, does something there, and then to the 2nd blues box, and then 1st blues box. That's not exactly what he plays, but the idea is what I'm trying to get across here. So when you're playing a solo, what I like about Lafayette Thomas in this song is he's not just stuck in the 1st blues box, he's playing all over the place, and it makes the solo really cool. So one more time, he's going to slide 3rd fret, 15th fret on the 1st string. So we're going from the G 1st position blues box here to the G 1st position blues box there. So we got this. He does something like that. And this is more a concept than a specific lick. Something I do hear him do a lot is when he gets to this, sometimes he'll do a kind of a hammer-on pull-off thing. Like that. So you get something like this. And then go back into whatever he's going to play next. I just thought that was a really neat idea that I hadn't heard anybody else do. Can't remember the 2nd tune. This is from Baby Please Come Back or Please Come Back, and then he also does that kind of lick in a couple other tunes that I was listening to. So there's another kind of cool Lafayette Thomas idea. For our next Lafayette Thomas example, we're going to go to the key of B flat. And this is a slow tune called Lost Mind. And as he gets into the solo, he starts out with this. And he plays all that over the 1, and then he's going to go to this. Which I think, I've never heard anyone do this before. So that first part is just kind of this general T-Bone Walker type, Pee Wee Creighton type double stop. So from B flat, pinky's on the 9th fret of the 1st string, ring fingers on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. And the band takes over. Little distortion there. Right here, what I'm doing, if you go make a double stop with your 1st finger on the 9th fret of the 1st string and your ring finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string. that would be an E flat seventh double stop. So here's E flat seventh chord, and there's that same double stop, which is E flat seven. Now you move that up three, 1, 2, 3, to where we want to be here in this song, and now we've got an E flat seven. And what he's doing is he's doing this sliding lick off of this, where he's taking this up two more to the 11th and the 13th frets of the first and second string. So we got this. Kind of cool. So if I do it without the rapid picking, I've got this. Something like that. So I have heard guys use that double stop before, but I've never heard anyone slide it like that. It's really different. So he does this rapid picking, and the first time he just goes straight from the 11th and the 13th frets back to the 9th and the 11th. And then the second time he does something like this, where he slides again, but this time just one step down from the 10th and 12th to the 11th and 13th. So something like this. They might even do that twice. Listen to the original and see what you think. I'm more concerned with the idea here, what he's doing. And then, as he goes back to the 1, he's going back to his B flat. And now he's going to take that E flat 7th double stop and do this. And do that same kind of lick, going from the 6th and the 8th frets to the 4th and the 6th. And then the second time he does something like this, where he's doing that sliding from the 5th and the 7th to the 6th and the 8th. Really neat deal here. And he plays this over the 4 and then back over the 1 on this solo. Let me try to play the whole first part of this solo, which is one giant lick here, I guess. And this is more of a complex idea because we're taking this slide and we're moving it. And so the whole idea is that you can play this, pretty much in any key if you have room. So he does this. Doom. Trying to watch the tab and play that at the same time, but you got the idea. Really neat stuff, and that's from the tune called, oops, I'm just learning these tunes, Lost Mind, another great Lafayette Thomas idea. Our next Lafayette Thomas idea comes from a tune called Don't Have to Worry, and this is another lick that he does a lot. And I'm not exactly sure how he's doing this, and I'll throw my theories by you here and we'll see if we can figure this out together. This is also in the key of B flat, and it's a slower tune. And he does this lick with a long bend shape with my first finger on the 6th fret of the 1st string and my pinky really doing most of the work, but I've got my ring finger in there too on the 2nd string at the 8th and 9th frets. And he does something like this. That double bend where he's picking both the 2nd and the 1st strings. I'm using downstrokes for this. It's almost Jimi Hendrix-like. Jimi Hendrix-like. And this is in the late 1950s as far as I know. So what I'm doing is picking both strings while bending up on the 2nd string. I'm also using my 2nd finger at the 7th fret. Now when I listen to that, the first thing I think is E position, somehow using a capo and doing that, which he might be doing, I don't know. Or if he could stretch from the 6th fret of the 1st string to the 11th fret of the 2nd string, but that's pretty hard to do. I've got really big hands, and that's a tough one for me. So I think what he's doing is just keeping it right there in the 1st position blues box and bending those strings, which which is a really cool lick that you can play over the first position blues box. And he'll do these little single string runs and then throw in that kind of lick, which adds a lot of oomph to it. Lafayette Thomas is a really cool guitar player. I'm disappointed that it took me so long to discover him, but at the same time I'm thrilled that there's still guys like this that I haven't heard. Fresh stuff to listen to and enjoy. All right, there's another Lafayette Thomas idea. Got one more for you, and then we'll wrap this up. Our last Lafayette Thomas lick comes from a tune called Sam's Drag. It's a really neat tune. He's got this bass run. Super distorted. I didn't mean to have it that loud. Neat stuff. But in that song, in the key of G, which is what I'm playing that in, he does one of these G7th double stop licks like this. And he plays it, and then he slides it up the neck, down the neck. So what I'm doing here, here's a G, double stop, first finger on the 10th fret of the first string, ring finger on the 12th fret of the second string. Move that 1, 2, 3, and you have a G7th. And I'm just playing that fast, getting both strings. Then the third time he does it, then he just kind of slides it back up the neck, down the neck. And then he winds up right here with my first finger on the 7th fret of the first string, second finger on the 8th fret of the second string. Basically, a D position G chord. So the lick, try to play it all the way through. He kicks into the solo and he does this. It's not exactly like that, but that's the idea, that you can take that lick and just slide it and then wind up there. And go into the rest of your solo, whatever you're going to play there. So I thought that was kind of neat. I've heard guys do this, but I've never heard it from that 7th chord like that. And I thought that's a neat thing. One of the things that makes Lafayette Thomas's playing interesting to me is that he doesn't just play, standard licks. He gets kind of crazy, sort of like a Guitar Slim type player, Hubert Sumlin, where you never know, these wild things, these single string slides and hammer-on pull-off, things like that, which make his playing very much anything but ordinary. So anyway, there's 10 or 12 ideas from the playing of Lafayette Thomas. He's a guitar player who I've just recently discovered, and I, right away, listening to his solo stuff, discovered a lot of cool licks that I wanted to share with you. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be back again in about 3 months with another classic licks lesson. And I'm going to keep searching and see if I can find some more guitar players that I'd never heard of. See you then.